Should you batch your stories into a single commit? No. But why not, you may ask? Chad, I can save myself some time by just committing 3 or 4 stories at once. They're small stories. It didn't take me long. Just let me put it in one commit. Why not? Excellent question. I'm glad you asked. Imagine for a moment that you have done exactly that. You've created a single commit and it's got maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 different stories associated with it. If they're small stories, it doesn't seem like that big a deal. Why not batch everything together? Well, let's play out a scenario. Let's imagine that you check that work in, you commit that, you push it, and then one of those stories comes back. Maybe the user doesn't want it. Maybe the product owner decides against it. Maybe legal gets involved and says, yeah, we can't really change the wording this way. Now you have to revert that commit. And chances are it's been days, maybe weeks, maybe even months since you checked in that code. If everything's batched up together, let's find one really fast. If everything's batched up together here, I now have to go code spelunking. I have to figure out which of these changes corresponded to that particular story and which did not. That's a problem. That's a challenge. Once I figure that out, I can't simply do a revert commit. I have to change each file one by one. That's making a problem for myself. If, however, instead I have created a single commit, even though it's small, I can simply find my commit and revert the single commit. Makes it very, very easy. So ultimately what we're talking about here is not whether or not it's easier to check in code. We're deciding whether it's easier to change the system. And your source control repository is just as important part of the system as any design pattern that you may choose. Keep that in mind. So I do recommend that you always make each story its own separate commit. And while we're on the topic, I do recommend including the story number from whatever system you're using, whether it's Azure DevOps or Jira or whatever it might be. Make sure you're including that number and include some text in there that has to do with the story itself, the user context, the user story context, not the technical context. That'll make it easier to find if you ever need to go back and spelunk through your repository. I hope this was helpful. Keep bringing awesome to the people.